What is going on, guys? When you think of the worst referee mistakes in NFL history, you think of the NOLA no-Call, the tuck rule, the replacement referee debacle in Seattle, and so on. Even though they're not very well documented, many of the worst officiating mistakes in recent memory happened in the Super Bowl, and these errors completely affected the outcome of the game. Here are the 9 worst officiating mistakes in Super Bowl history. Number 9, Super Bowl 40, Darrell Jackson's phantom OPI. The Seattle Seahawks faced the Pittsburgh Steelers in Super Bowl 40, but this game is remembered for all the wrong reasons. It was the most humiliating performance by an NFL officiating crew in Super Bowl history. And worse yet, every single blown call went against Seattle. There were no makeup calls whatsoever. Everything went Pittsburgh's way, to the point where conspiracy theorists suggest that the NFL really wanted the Steelers to win this one. Even though the Seahawks were the top seed in the NFC, and the Steelers were a wild card team, Seattle was actually the 4-point underdog here. But the Seahawks were moving the ball efficiently in the first quarter, and Matt Hasselbeck was about to give his team that critical first touchdown of the game. With 2 minutes remaining in the opening quarter, Hasselbeck spotted Darrell Jackson in the end zone for a touchdown. However, the officials flagged Jackson for a push-off. But guys, this was as tacky of a call as you'll ever see.
Moves to his left, throws,
feels the scramble, so he goes into a scramble drill.
Even ABC commentator John Madden remarked that it didn't exactly look like a push-off, but as Madden pointed out, it didn't help that there was an official right there when Jackson did it. The Seahawks weren't able to score a touchdown, and they had to settle for a field goal. They would only score 7 more points the rest of the way. If the refs didn't throw the flag on Jackson, maybe Seattle would have come away with the victory. We'll never really know. Number 8, Super Bowl 53, John Sullivans hold. The Los Angeles Rams met the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 53, which was a rematch of Super Bowl 36, when some nobody named Tom Brady led the Pats to a shocking upset over Kurt Warner's Rams, which kickstarted a near 2-decade-long dynasty. Both the Rams and Patriots made Super Bowl 53 thanks to some suspect officiating. LA, of course, got away with the infamous NOLA no-Call that cost the New Orleans Saints a trip to the big game. The Patriots, meanwhile, got a big break when Tom Brady drew a roughing the passer penalty after Chris Jones tried slapping the ball out of his hands. So NFL fans in general had to be quite livid about the showdown, knowing the Saints and Kansas City Chiefs were both robbed of their chance at playing for a Lombardi trophy. And so it's only fitting that the Rams and Patriots Super Bowl would only be determined by some more questionable officiating. This defensive slugfest was tied 3-3 early in the fourth quarter. Todd Gurley wasn't much of a factor in this game, but he broke through with a big run into Patriots territory here.
Gurley makes a cut, and Gurley races for about 12 or 13.
The Rams are about to take the lead, or not. The officials flagged John Sullivan for holding. We'll roll the film here and maybe you folks can tell us where the hold was. CBS analyst Tony Romo said it was not a call I would make. We're pretty sure that call wouldn't be made 99% of the time though. It was not a pretty ride into the sunset for head official John Parry, who was working his final NFL game. The Rams had to punt, and the Patriots would march down the field for the game-winning score. If they didn't flag Sullivan there, who knows? Maybe the Rams would have gone down for the go-ahead touchdown, and maybe their defense holds the rest of the way for the win. We'll never know. Number 7, Super Bowl 52. Eagles avoid illegal contact on final play. Super Bowl 52 featured Nick Foles' Philadelphia Eagles, and as usual, the Tom Brady and Bill Belichick-led Patriots. The Eagles were the top seed in the NFC, but they became the ultimate underdog when MVP frontrunner Carson Wentz ended his season when he tore his ACL in Week 14. Foles took over from there, and he remained cool under pressure while guiding Philly back to the big game, where they looked to avenge their Super Bowl 39 loss to the Patriots 13 years earlier.
Avenge me! No!
This was an epic back-and-forth tilt that came down to the final possession. The Eagles led 41-33 thanks to Zach Ertz's late go-ahead touchdown and a strip sack off Brady that led to a Philly field goal. With little time left on the clock, the Patriots just had to hope for the best on a Hail Mary play. Brady heaved a desperate throw to the end zone, which was knocked away.
Launching one for the end zone. It's a jump ball and it's incomplete.
At first, it looked like a casual Hail Mary pass that simply felt incomplete. The Eagles defended it perfectly to hold on for their first Super Bowl. But upon further review, you'll see how the Eagles got away with illegal contact and pass interference, which should have given New England one more shot.
They do not jam Gronkowski.
Now, the odds of completing a Hail Mary are never good, but this is Tom Brady and the Patriots. You never know what would have happened. And at the same time, this was a totally blatant call that the officials shouldn't have missed. We suppose it was another case of the refs not wanting to make such a big call at a pivotal moment like that. Number 6, Super Bowl 51. Patriots get away with obvious face mask. For the most part, the officials did a fine job in Super Bowl 51 between the Falcons and the Patriots. Atlanta wasn't the victim of blown calls. They were more so the victim victim of a self-inflicted choke job. You all know the story. Matt Ryan tossed a touchdown pass to Tevin Coleman midway through the third quarter, which put Atlanta up 28-3. With an MVP quarterback leading the offense, and with the defense keeping Tom Brady in check up until that point, the Falcons were on their way to winning their first ever Super Bowl, right? Well, not exactly, because Tom Brady. You see, the Patriots just had to make it close, cutting the deficit down to 8 with under 6 minutes to go. But the Falcons seemingly put the dagger in New England when Julio Jones made a jaw-dropping sideline grab to put his team in field goal range. Matt Ryan was sacked on second down, however, and Atlanta was once again out of kicker Matt Bryant's range. They needed more yards, and Mohamed Sanu seemingly picked them up by gaining 9 yards on third down, but Jake Matthews was flagged for holding, thus nullifying the catch. You'll see here though that Logan Ryan got away with a blatant face mask that should have led to offsetting penalties and a replay of third down. Instead of offsetting penalties, it became 3rd and 33. The Falcons had to punt. The Patriots marched downfield for the game-tying score, and James White's 2-yard rushing touchdown sealed the game in overtime. Simply put, the refs really botched that no call on Ryan, and it was key in helping the Patriots pull off their historic comeback. Number 5, Super Bowl 43, James Harrison's penalty-filled pick 6. The Pittsburgh Steelers met the underdog Arizona Cardinals in Super Bowl 43. Mike Tomlin's team was looking to add an NFL record 6th Lombardi trophy, while the Cardinals were looking to win their first ever Super Bowl. The contest was thoroughly dominated by the Steelers and their stingy defense, although Kurt Warner had the Cardinals on the cusp of taking the lead before the end of the first half. But James Harrison wouldn't have any of it.
Here they come. He gets it away and it's picked off at the Harrison to run it back, and Harrison is going to go all the
It was one of the most iconic plays in Super Bowl history, and it was the ultimate backbreaker for Arizona. But come on now, the officials missed a handful of illegal blocks in the back calls on that play. It's amazing that the Cardinals were the only team flagged at the end of all that. Pittsburgh wound up winning in the final minute thanks to a Santonio Holmes game-winning tiptoe catch. But if Harrison's pick 6 was correctly called back, there's a good chance that Arizona would have won the game. Number 4, Super Bowl 53, Stephon Gilmore gets away with PI. Remember that phantom holding call on John Sullivan we mentioned in Super Bowl 53? While it was far from being the worst officiating mistake that night, Jared Goff and the Rams were marching downfield for the game-tying score in the fourth quarter. Goff just missed Brandon Cooks in the end zone for a touchdown. But you'll see that Patriots corner Stephon Gilmore got away with a blatantly obvious holding or pass interference penalty. Goff threw an interception to Gilmore on the next play, and the Patriots melted the clock and added a field goal to ice the game. The NFL introduced its new rules that allowed teams to challenge for pass interference in the ensuing offseason. The league also acknowledged that the officials missed a penalty on Gilmore that would have given the Rams their fresh set of downs near the goal line. That's just a brutal miscall that cannot happen, and it completely ruined the Rams' chances of a comeback and a Super Bowl victory. Number 3, Super Bowl 40, Matt Hasselbeck flagged for block below the waist. As we noted earlier, Super Bowl 40 was full of wretched officiating calls that entirely benefited the Steelers. The worst call of them all, however, took place in the fourth quarter, and it helped Pittsburgh ice the game. The Seahawks trailed 14-10 with under 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Ike Taylor picked off Matt Hasselbeck near the Steelers' 5-yard line.
Hasselbeck throwing, and it's intercepted at the 5-yard line by Ike Taylor. And Ike Taylor.
There was a flag on the play, however, and it wasn't a hold or an illegal block in the back on the Steelers. Rather, the officials curiously flagged Hasselbeck for a block below the waist that even baffled commentators Al Michaels and John Madden.
This play, we think it's a bad call. If Hasselbeck is making a tackle, he can go low. If you go low...
The Steelers wound up putting the game away on a trick play, with Antoine Randall L. tossing a deep touchdown pass to Hines Ward. Number 2, Super Bowl 47. Jimmy Smith gets away with hold. There were so many epic storylines heading into Super Bowl 47. It was Ray Lewis' last ride, as the Baltimore Ravens legend revealed his plans to retire after the season. Randy Moss was also playing in his final NFL game, looking to capture that elusive first Super Bowl of his Hall of Fame career. And of course, there was the whole Harbaugh brothers storyline. Jim was coaching the 49ers while John was on the sidelines for the Ravens. The Ravens built a 28-6 lead early in the third quarter, but the 49ers quickly stormed back and cut the lead down to 2. A Justin Tucker field goal put the Ravens up by 5 with just over 4 minutes to go. Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers moved the ball downfield, and they set up a goal-to-goal situation, following 2 straight incompletions. San Francisco faced 4th and goal, and with the championship on the line, Kaepernick looked for his number 1 receiver in Michael Crabtree. Take a closer look, and you'll see that Jimmy Smith got away with an obvious hold on Crabtree. The officials never called it, and again you get the feeling that they simply didn't want to throw a flag during such a crucial moment in the contest. The Ravens managed to bleed most of the clock after that, and they eventually conceded the safety before escaping with a 34-31 victory. Brother John came out on top, and Lewis retired as a Super Bowl champion. But it didn't come without some controversy. 49ers really got hosed on that no call. Number 1, Super Bowl 52, ignoring a legal formation on Philly special. This is number 1 on our list for a variety of reasons. 1, it's one of the most iconic plays in Super Bowl history. 2, it was a crucial scoring play that definitely affected the outcome of the game. 3, this was a no judgment call. By the rulebook, this should have been a penalty. Plain and simple. The Eagles led the Patriots by 3 points with 38 seconds remaining in the first half. They called the timeout before a 4th and goal situation at the 1-yard line. Many of us knew that the game could very well come down to this play. After talking it over with Doug Peterson, Foles decided to run the Philly special. And the rest, as they say, is history.
And they're going to snap it, and it's Trey Burton who throws caught.
But the former NFL vice president of officiating, who now serves as a Fox Rules analyst, stated after the game that the Eagles were in an illegal formation. He said the league referred to it as a judgment call, and he explained his take on the Philly special here. Not only that, if it's a trick play, and if you're going to run a trick type play, then you have to be lined up properly. You could either have 6 men on the line, or you can have an ineligible number lined up at the end of the line, which was the case. I know what the league has said, but they would have been a lot more comfortable if they would have called an illegal formation. We always use a yard within the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard and a half, but that's 2 yards, and even a little bit beyond 2. It's kind of one of those that has no effect on the play. I get it, but they didn't line up properly, and it really should have been called. Not sure if the officials really missed it, or if they just deemed it was a legal play, but this guy understands the rulebook more than anyone else, so he has a very credible opinion on this play. If penalized, the Eagles certainly would have opted to take a field goal instead of taking the touchdown, and that, for all we know, could have seriously altered how the second half played out. The next time haters complain about the Patriots getting all the calls, just remember the 2 that Philly got away with in Super Bowl 52. What other terrible officiating mistakes from Super Bowl should we have included on our list? Join me in the comment section below. Make sure to follow myself and TPS on social media. I make TikToks all the time. If you want to follow me on that, and go follow me and YouTube and Instagram and Twitter for TPS and myself, wherever I go find us. Subscribe to TPS. We post videos every single day. If you like this video, give it a like. It takes 1 click right down there. Of course, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jason Biondo. I'll see you next time.
My knees.